Stamos lives here with the Canadian Dota League. 3PO joining me, of course. 3PO, how you doing this evening?
I am, as always, super fantastic.
All right. Are you excited about Titanic Tuesday today?
Always completely excited. It's going to be an excellent, excellent match, we hope. Otherwise, there's an iceberg in our way, and I fear it may derail the entire process.
Yes, yes. Make sure that you have your foghorn ready, folks. We're jumping into some random matches. Some players that were probably not necessarily teamed up with each other with the intent in mind that they meant to be with one another. Wow, that sentence got away from me a bit there, didn't it?
It's quite alright, but it looks like it's going to be an exciting one just because, obviously, a bunch of great people playing with each other, which sounds really awkward. But interesting blog today from the Dota folks about the mute system. So I've been watching a couple of matches over the last week and saw some interesting communication with a lot of pinging going on. And they sort of came out today and said that, a lot of the perceptions that we had about the mute system are not actually correct. You can't have a stack auto-mute you by everybody reporting you, which I thought was kind of an interesting thing. If you've got a mute, you probably deserved it.
Yeah, it was a really really awesome article. Valve constantly posting just their thoughts and data. I mean, they're a data driven company. And it was really cool to see them reach out to the community and just kind of express what's going on. Already jumped into the game here. It's about to start in a minute and 20 seconds or so.
All right, and we are live into the loading screen, our beautiful international loading screen. Big hello to everybody who's watching on Twitch right now. Hope you're having a great time, as we are already.
And while we're loading in, you had mentioned that there's a couple tournaments coming up that we'd like to wish well. There is, of course, the Canadian Open. Is that what it was?
The Canada Cup, which is coming up in June. That's a 99-cent ticket in-game in the Dota client. And the American Dota League just got its first start today with AC broadcasting. That's a $5 in-game ticket, which is going to be an interesting set of matches, I think.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and just announce the picks that we've got already from our teams. On the Radiant side, we've got kind of a caster-heavy team with Lion and Rubik, as well as Alchemist, Sand King, and Razor, being played by Orange. And then up top on the Dire, we have Storm Spirit. Of course, that is the Templar Assassin. We've got Pudge, Darkseer, one of my favorite picks, and a Faceless Void. So
good times.
I'll tell you what, one thing that I would love right now is for my cat to stop grabbing my mouse cable. That would be fantastic.
Cat and mouse. It's the age-old game. Speaking of which, up top we've got Templar Assassin and Sand King, just sort of doing a little bit of a dance, where Razor will come up and share the love between them.
Yeah, it looks like Faceless there also snagged a double damage. He's coming up to join the fray.
Good time to back out right now if you're Razor, tethering up and gathering some extra damage. There's the stun from Sand King and a quick lash. Faceless will teleport in, land a couple of hits.
And he picked up Time Walk first, which I think I've told you before, I always kind of find as a mistake on Faceless. We'll be interested in seeing how much further he goes into that, but already taking some kind of hefty damage there.
There's a ton of damage going on all over the place here. Pudge has been trading hits with Rubik and is heading into the side shop right now with his potion just going wild. In mid, we're seeing Lion and Storm Spirit just slugging it out. No real regard for decorum. They're just smacking each other like it's the thing to do. It looks like Lion might be in a bit of trouble. He's going to head into the brush here, and Storm Spirit will take a hit from the tower.
Ooh, Pudge in a lot of trouble right now. Gets popped up by Rubik, and First Blood goes out by Alchemist.
We will join him just to see him faceplant into the dirt. Sorry, Pudge. It's a rough way to go.
Yeah. Looks like Sand King also put Windrunner down. Oh, excuse me. The name was Windrunner. That's going to confuse me. But the character was definitely Storm Spirit. Darkseer is continuing jungling up in the forest. And it looks like Templar Assassin is doing the same thing, which is definitely kind of strange. I think they're trying to give that kill lane up to Faceless Void up top so that he can kind of level up faster.
Interesting sort of strategy. 3 single lanes, 2 junglers. Faceless right now in a bit of trouble, being picked on by Razor, who will just smack him over and over again.
And nearly secured the kill there with that plasma field. Plasma field, of course, doing more damage on the fringes, on the outer fringes, than closer together.
So if you're facing a Razor, you wanna get in close. Is that what you're telling me here?
Well, it's a thing of give and take. It's why Razor's a really interesting hero. If you get too close and you're a melee carry, he can just static link you and pretty much take your power away. But it does definitely mitigate a lot of the damage from that plasma field.
So we saw Faceless stack a potion there and some tangos to get some of that health back, keeping him in lane just a little bit longer.
It looks like, speaking of stacking, both Darkseer and Templar Assassin are stacking creeps out in the jungle, making sure that they get some double and even triple experience on those camp kills. Let's see what's going on
Faceless
bottom lane.
go head to head with Sand King here, as they just tend to smack each other just a little bit.
Pudge once again in a little bit of trouble down bottom. May see him actually dropping. In fact, he does. Rubik throws him up in the air. Alchemist then pops out an unstable concoction, which is just enough to finish Pudge.
That's a tough lane right there. You've got a lot of the acid spray to deal with, and then obviously the incapacitate from Rubik to keep her from moving anywhere. If you're Pudge right now, how are you playing this? I mean, he's obviously heading out. He's heading past that river and getting into the action. What would you be doing right now?
Well, I think I'd actually be kind of frustrated. I don't really think that this team strategy is working out right now for the Dire. They have 2 junglers up top, which I think is severely hampering both Darkseer and Templar Assassin. It's also hampering Pudge from getting a lot of experience and kills in the lane because he doesn't really have any backup right now. You're seeing that his creeps are being killed by creep pulls by Rubik, who then just pumps back over and gets the kill on Pudge.
Interesting to see that Sand King was zoning Faceless out from experience there, just basically playing guard dog for a bit of time. Both Sand King and Razor heading into the jungle now to where you'll see Templar Assassin and Darkseer working away. The stun out on Templar Assassin, the static link. We'll see the plasma field.
Possibly saved by that refraction. We're going to see here in a second. Nope, Razor able to do enough damage by gathering tons of damage from that static link.
112 attack damage from static link. Sand King right now fleeing for his life, and will get away scot-free. So right now it's 5 minutes in. We're 5-1 in favor of the Radiant, and some strong team play from them. They're heading down towards mid lane. It looks like Storm Spirit's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Razor's just picking away at him, but they'll back off.
Well, and just to point out, Pudge dropped again, this time to Lion, so Pudge having a lot of trouble right now staying alive.
Truly my frustration with this match is being able to keep up with the number of times that Pudge is being killed. Looks like that bottom tower is going to go in favor of the Radiant.
A very quick tower push on the Radiant side, which of course is huge for them. I mean, that's tons of gold going out for that team.
You know what, we're 5 minutes in. Let's take a quick look at the graph, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Gold graph first?
Absolutely.
Alright, yeah, you can already see Radiant has a resounding lead, up by 3,000 gold right now. Fairly significant for this early in the game. Popping over to the experience, looks like there's a little bit of a difference, probably because of all the separation. I'm guessing that the Radiant higher because of all the kills, but it's going down a bit because we have a lot of solo play going on by the Dire. I think that solo play is at least putting them into a position where they may be able to catch up an experience.
And you can see that right now with Pudge, despite the number of deaths that he's had at level 6, with Rubik only at level 5.
Excuse me, just real fast here. Lion popped in, caught Templar Assassin in the jungle, and started just kind of ripping her a new one. Had double damage out, popped her up in the air with his Earth Spike. She decided to go ahead and hide, but was not able to hide long enough.
We'll see Darkseer chased down and stunned by Sand King.
Yeah, that Burrow Strike has just been fantastic on Sand King's part. He and Lion both having that line stun and doing a lot of damage with it. Faceless, however, almost level 6. Getting caught right now by Static Link. Razor doing a little bit of damage to Faceless, maybe just a bit of a harass, and he decides not to try to push under that tower.
It's interesting, that's almost, it's demoralizing really, just being chased down. We'll see Storm Spirit come in straight on Rubick, and it will get smacked down by Pudge. Great teleport in, and great use of mobility.
Yeah, pulled him back with that electric vortex. Pudge then coming in, using his ultimate of Dismember. I think that Rubick was a little bit overextended there without any sort of backup.
We'll see the ultimate out on Razor here as he Static Links Faceless once again, who will Time Walk out of it, and again take the damage from the fringes of that plasma field. We'll see a teleport in from Pudge. Can we see a hook? We won't see a hook. Tower's going to hit Razor, and he'll head outwards, back towards his tower.
Yeah, he definitely thought about hooking there, but his creeps had gotten in the way there, so I think he decided to not.
And we will see a hook on. That plasma field doing as much damage as it can. The Chronosphere out on Sand King, who will just get smacked and smacked.
There by Razor.
Faceless falling after an unstable concoction hits him in the back of the head.
Templar Assassin just popping Sand King like a piñata, going into that meld, getting that extra damage.
Unfortunately, she'll be put down by Razor.
And a significant kill advantage right now by the Radiant, who is looking to down their next tower. And once again, I haven't seen a lot of play from Darkseer yet, who is only level 5.
So here comes Lion, who is invisible right now, and he is just hanging out. There's that stun, the hook from Pudge, who will save him, but the ultimate from Lion.
Nearly jibbed Storm Spirit there. That Pudge was a pretty pro pull on a teammate. That's, you don't usually see, especially in rando matches, players popping out those hooks to save their allies. They usually are a little bit more greedy with their usage, but that was some great play by Pudge there.
And the Time Walk from Faceless Void going up on Sand King, and we'll see Templar Assassin follow. We'll see the Sandstorm to block some of that attack damage, but he just continues to take Burrow Strike to get away. Strong use of mobility there, and he's going to head into the jungle to see if he can teleport out. Or, pardon me, he's actually going to cancel the teleport. No, his teleport is down, I beg your pardon. That was...
Yeah, he's still got a couple seconds left on it.
That was actually from the Dire team, pardon me.
Feel free to describe what's going on in the mid.
And there's Razor being hooked by Pudge. He'll take some hits from the tower and from Darkseer, as well as being hit by Pudge, and he will say goodnight.
Dire may have a good opportunity to come back here.
We're seeing Rubik just destroyed by Storm Spirit with some strong mobility. We'll see the acid spray out on Pudge and put down by Lion.
Alchemist popped out that acid spray there.
Beg your pardon.
That's okay. He's got the disease cloud thingy, which is equally as disgusting. If you
Large
think
and
about
chubby and slightly confusing is where I was going.
Yeah. They're really the same character, but not.
The same but different.
How did you describe that? Chubby and large and smelly?
Something like that.
It's like my ex-girlfriend.
And good night, folks.
And we're no longer live. I wanted to go through and look at some items while we're kind of relaxed here. You're not seeing too many special things in the Dire. Alchemist here does have that Hand of Minos already. One typical build with Alchemist is to go really strong attack speed and then get a Skull Basher. You see a whole bunch of mini bashes get thrown out.
We saw Chronosphere out from Faceless Void on Rubik, but as the rest of the Radiant come in, he puts both Templar Assassin and Faceless Void down. Just a complete overextension there. The Radiant team was jungling just above. No visibility on that from the Dire. And it was just
a straight-up smash fest, and you'll notice that they don't even have any wards out right now. So the Dire, that is, the Radiant definitely does have a couple wards to check the river and see what's going on.
We'll see a teleport top from Lion to Hex Storm Spirits, and we'll see the stun and the ult to put him down. That tower just melting right now under the collected efforts of the 4 members of the Radiant.
Wonderful pull pipe by Pudge. Sand King dropping very quickly. Templar Assassin now in a lot of trouble. Taking a ton of damage by Rubick, who had stolen Pudge's Rot, stood by Templar Assassin and basically forced the issue getting the kill on Templar Assassin. Awesome play by Rubick there, especially in stealing that Rot. And immediately adapting. Rubick, of course, being able to steal enemy spells and use them against them.
And we are 12 minutes in. It is 15-6. Then they are pushing a T3 on the Dire side there.
Yeah, that tier 3 is already down about a fifth of the way. Let's take a look at the goal graph just real fast while this looks like mid tower is about to drop. You got that gold graph open? Nope, just real fast. Rubik got pulled by Pudge and just instantly dies, gets blown up. But the damage has been done as mid tower drops.
Up top we've got Lion, who currently is being pursued by both Templar Assassin and Storm Spirit. The rest of his team heading north to see what they can do.
Lion, of course, had a bottle charge of invisibility kind of lined up there. And Storm Spirit in a lot of trouble, as well as Templar Assassin.
The warding from the Radiant really giving them the insight that they need to make sure that they've got people in the right places. Strong hook from Pudge to get Templar Assassin out there, but Darkseer caught with the stuff from an unstable concoction. And despite being dragged away, it's merely his corpse that makes the trip.
That was gruesome, is what that was. I mean, his blood splotch is like half a world away from where he died.
Interestingly enough, we're talking about that Pudge there. He's actually wielding a Dragonclaw hook, which is a rare item in the game. It's actually an immortal item, no longer available. Only a few of them out there.
Always cool to see things like that. Really cool kind of gimmick items and pretty sweet. This the second tier 2 tower taking a beating and only not even 15 minutes into the game right now. Radiant has more kills than 1 kill a minute.
Faceless right now attempting to push that bottom tower, but just really not getting anything for it. We will see all 3 members of the Dire's attack squad here take a lot of damage, and only Darkseer will make it out alive. Pudge and Storm Spirit just, again, melting like an ice cream on a hot Ontario day.
Yeah, the plasma field just absolutely wreaked havoc on their forces there. Dire team took a lot of damage. And the first tower drops on the Radiant side, down by Faceless, who's doing all that he can to try and get some farm. But it's likely too little too late. Speaking of which, take a look at the gold graph real fast. Let me know when you've got that sucker open there.
She's up and going.
Alright. Commanding lead by the Radiant, almost reaching a 12,000 gold lead, well above 10,000 gold. Experience, you'll notice that they're above, slightly curving down, but not too much, still above by 4,000.
Faceless time walking into the forest and teleporting out, obviously extending as far as he could, having that teleport in his back pocket, giving him the ability to get away. I think he was baiting the Radiant just a touch. Sorry, didn't get a chance to take a look at that XP graph. Nice curve on that at the top there. That's almost artful.
Yeah. It's a beautiful curve.
Elegant.
Parabolas.
And we'll see Darkseer and Pudge with Storm Spirit mid. And
Pudge barely missing that hook on Rubik.
We'll see Storm Spirit popped up. The unstable concoction is cooking, and that will go out on Darkseer. Acid spray is down, and again, just not much in it for him.
Sand King here playing a really interesting support Sand King. He's picked up the Urn of Shadows so that he can provide some hit points for his team. He's got the Arcane Boots so that he can pump out some hit points for his team.
Faceless being hexed up in the jungle, popped up and again put down. And that while he's doing that, Templar Assassin did take that top tower for the Radiant. For the Dire, pardon me, took the Radiant's top tower. So there is a bit of a war of attrition going on here, but I don't think it's coming out in favor of
Yeah, I mean,
of the Dire.
this game is pretty much already set in stone, if you ask me. It would take significant defending by the Dire team, and it would take them actually warding, which is one thing that they haven't done yet. And you're going to see that a lot in these public matches. People don't necessarily ward as much as they should. Of course, as soon as I say that, a ward does go out on the Dire side up top. The first
we'll see the
one,
static link on Darkseer and Plasma Charge. Or pardon me, on Darkseer. Hook is there, but just a little too late. Can't grab anybody.
nearly got a pull. It was just a little bit too far up.
Templar Assassin living dangerously right now. Popped up. We'll see the blink in from Lion. Stun. Hooked out by Pudge into the jungle. And they are running.
And that right there, yeah, that right there is the kind of play that I'm talking about that will actually lose this game faster for the Dire. They need to be playing this tight and together. They do have an opportunity to try and turn this against the Radiant side, especially because that Pudge has quite a bit of hit points right now.
And we'll see a stun out on Sand King, and this is really what we're talking about, is splitting those individual units up. We'll see the Chronosphere come out. That's locking the team down. Sand King with Sandstorm, and will actually drop to Storm Spirit. Pudge has got Lion down, but Faceless Void ending his brief run, thanks to Alchemist. Acid Spray out. That Ion Shell doing a little bit to project Darkseer, but the Unstable Concoction will stun him, and we'll see some spike damage from the rest of the Radiant team.
And, you know, we've yet to see a really good Wall of Replica used, that being Darkseer's ultimate, to try and counter them, them being the Radiant side. So it's interesting. I don't know if they don't necessarily know all of their abilities or how to use them, but there's just not a lot of team play going on by the Dire side right now. It's kind of higgledy-piggledy, which is a word found in the Oxford Dictionary.
Unfortunately, it was inserted on a post-it note.
It was an important post-it note. What up?
And we'll see the hook out on Rogue. The spike from Sand King will lay down a lot of damage and a stun. Alchemist dropping.
It was Pudge that dropped again. Pudge dropped to Lion, just using that ultimate, popping him right in the face, but not enough. This is the sort of thing I'm actually talking about. This is the type of play that the Dire wants now. It's really good. They're playing together. They're getting a lot of kills together. I'm assuming there's probably somebody on their team saying, "Hey guys, we need to form up and not wander around alone." Especially because the Radiant has just been incredibly aggressive with their play. Faceless realizing he may be in a little bit of trouble here, getting out with a time walk and teleporting out as well. When it comes down to this level of play, though, one big aspect that I don't think people take into consideration is how important it is to, when you're the person that's on the Dire side, to have team fights that go into your favor by defending.
Rubik caught up by Storm Spirits and will be force-staffed away by Razor. We'll see Razor get that static link out, and Plasma Field will do just a ton of damage. Hex out on Storm Spirit and will be put down by Lion. Darkseer, even with Ion Shell, just with that chemical spray and Razor's ult, not a chance.
And that was an example of the overextension I'm talking about. The Dire didn't need to go out and do that. They should have stayed by their base, waited for a push in, tried to get some farm if they could. They have the wards out to watch their jungle. They should be warding that even more so that they can have the vision. But
some interesting play
for the Radiant to make a mistake.
Some interesting play bot lane. We saw Faceless Void going up against Sand King, who used his Sandstorm to just obscure vision while his creeps backed him up and basically were kicking Faceless Void's butt as he headed out. Meantime, we had Templar Assassin trying to solo Roche, scared off by Razor. Sort of some interesting strategies. Again, those players, working individually as opposed to working together as a team. We will see a hook go out on Razor, which will bring him in and put him down.
Razor dropping, but Alchemist came up with an unstable concoction and just popped Faceless right in the face. But not his face.
Sand King again wandering in just a little too far and getting caught out by Darkseer and Pudge. It's
Notice that defensive play, right? Hanging back by the tower, pulling people in, getting the kills. Right now they can go and farm some lanes, don't push out too far, definitely not to the river, and then tighten it back up again.
So we are 22 minutes in, it is 29-16. The Dire has been pushed right back to their base with a T1 and T2s still up across the board for the Radiant.
Lion, of course, using that Force Staff to help his allies. Rubik also wielding a Force Staff to help himself and his allies. Alchemist doing that speed build I was telling you about. Currently has a Maelstrom as well as a Hand of Midas. And the Shadow Blade, all of which incredibly increase your attack speed. Yule Scepter out on Razor. Interesting choice. Doesn't really speak to Razor's abilities, in my opinion. I don't know if I would use that. It's definitely a utility choice, and I think it's come in handy here. But in terms of him being a carry for his team, I don't think it was a solid choice in that respect.
Faceless Void heading out of that top lane back to bot was about to be ganked by Razor, Rubik, and Alchemist.
Templar Assassin using her Refraction as well as Meld to take Roshan down, basically soloing her. Also looks as if Darkseer assisted by placing his Ion Shell.
And how does Ion Shell work? Let's just take a moment here as they all tend to dance. Actually, hang on just a second. We're seeing Rubik once again, just a little bit of forward play there, which could have got him into trouble with a hook there. But backed off just in time.
But just a little reticent to throw that out, it seemed. I think he noticed that the rest of the Radiant team was there and didn't want to start that fight without his allies being ready.
Razor heading straight in. Blink in from Lion and the stun. We'll see that static field popped up by Rubik and Pudge will be put down.
Just way too much damage to get down on Pudge. You're going to see this tower just melt to Alchemist here.
There's that wall of replica, but and finally a vacuum.
Yeah, kind of the first time we've seen that Darkseer ultimate kicked out.
Unstable Concoction will go out on Darkseer as it counts down.
Storm Spirit just hanging back, kind of watching the fight going. Not doing too much. Ion Shell is an AoE. It essentially is a shield that goes out on you, and anything around you takes damage in an AoE. It has to be a very, very close radius of about 250 in-game units. It works well in cohesion with Pudge, whose Rot is right around that same radius. I think it's actually exactly the same. And it does a significant amount of damage per second. Right now at level 4 it does 90 damage over time.
So don't be there, is what you're telling me.
Yes, especially if it's on Pudge, you're going to be taking a lot of nasty AoE
So we'll see
damage.
Templar Assassin popped up by Rubik. We'll see the stun out from Lion. She's using her Refraction to get around some of that damage. We'll see Darkseer, who's in a lot of trouble but manages to blink away. Razor locked down under Chronosphere, but will get away. Faceless Void put down by Lion in the meantime. Pudge heads out towards the secret shop, but no joy there. Popped up by that Yule's Templar Assassin, who's currently facing both Razor and Lion. That tether's there, and not really sure what's happening.
Well, she's invisible right now, and they can't really do any damage, with the exception of popping kind of AoE abilities on the ground. They opt instead to go take out the first tier 3, and a very, very fast Rax by Alchemist.
I mistakenly thought I saw Dust of Appearance on one of the Radiant. I suppose I did not.
Alchemist finishing that Mjolnir. Mjolnir, a really interesting and cool item. Increases your attack speed by a significant amount. Has a 25% chance to kick out a chain lightning, so it's fantastic for farming. And you can also use it to place a charged shield on a unit. The shield kind of damage.
Right now, Templar Assassin feeling rather emboldened by that Aegis in her inventory. And we'll see the Dire chase the Radiant away. Storm Spirit and Time Walk out on Rubik, Silence out, and he's just limping out. And we'll see a teleport out up top. Rubik with a stolen Time Walk, but a hook from Pudge! Beautiful, huge amount of damage, and one punch from Pudge, and he's done.
And Pudge has had some absolutely outstanding pulls this game. Been really impressed with his hook play. Go through, see if the Dire have any significant items. Besides that Aegis, she's got a Mithril Hammer. This is Templar Assassin I'm talking about here. I'm wondering if she's going for a Desolator.
Up top we will see Storm Spirit stunned, Static Link, and Plasma Field finally put down by Razor.
Yeah, he melted fast. That was a grand overextension on his part.
The just barely missed the hook on Sand King there from Pudge as he's being accosted by three of the Dire. He's going to limp away. In the meantime, we'll see Templar Assassin stunned by Lion.
In the meantime, Pudge gets an excellent hook on Sand King and finishes him off with that rot that I was telling you about earlier. Unstable Concoction out on Darkseer. And Alchemist looking as if he doesn't want to continue that fight.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
We'll see Templar Assassin popped up. Unstable Concoction will stun. There's that Aegis coming into play right now. Chemical Spray put down for when she comes back. The rest of the Dire heading back in to see if they can re-engage. Lion's there. Templar Assassin hiding as well as she can. Hooked out by Pudge. Unstable Concoction out again. She'll be stunned one more time. Popped up by Lion and put down by Alchemist. We'll see Storm Spirit come in and Alchemist just smacking away with that heavy damage. We'll see Mjolnir come up. And Pudge is doing as much damage to himself as he is to his foe. Unstable Concoction once again on Darkseer. Chemical Spray. And Alchemist will get this one again.
You know, I I think that Pudge actually made that Templar Assassin die. I think that Pudge put her into a worse position than she was in before with that pull. She was relatively safe and in a really good position to escape. The pull taking her out of invisibility before her invis was up again, and she dropped fast.
The road to hell is paved with dead Templar Assassins.
Yeah, apparently. And with poor Pudge hooks.
That was a solid hook, just poorly timed. We'll see the Time Walk and the Chronosphere come in. Right now, Faceless Void just smacking away, seeing what he can do. Sand King down, and Razor down. That's what happens when you head into the enemy's base when they're all up, and try to take that Rax on your own.
Yeah, huge overextension on Razor's part. Again, I don't think it's going to be enough to matter for the actual game itself or the outcome, but it does prolong the inevitable victory by the Radiant side.
With no buyback, those two will be down for the next, collectively, 30 seconds. 13 for Sand King.
Here's a question for you. With an overextension like that, would you say that Razor wasn't very sharp?
Yeah, I would.
I believe I've won this game, 3PO.
Well, you were shaving it close. Anyway.
Oh.
You might say he got creamed. Like, what do you want me to do here?
Yeah. I'm kind of beard by your puns here.
I must ask you a question. Why would you say something like that?
I'll shave it for later.
Brutal. All right.
Later on, Sean Connery will be visiting.
And the Radiant will go after those racks, this time as a team. putting them down in relatively quick fashion. Templar Assassin deciding not to engage by herself at this time. Teleports back from the Dire team. Unstable Concoction up on Alchemist. Let's see if he can find somebody to put it on. And mid lane he will find Dark Seer. And despite the mobility in from Storm Spirit, well, nothing happening there. Templar Assassin just taking the damage. But we will see a Chronosphere, a strong Chronosphere in from Faceless Void, who will put down both Alchemist and Sand King. And yes, it was Alchemist this time, not Pudge. You would get that sooner or later. The ult out from Razor, Static Link, and Plasma Field doing a lot of damage. Time walk away from Faceless Void, but Razor will get Pudge down with some help from Lion.
The Eye of the Storm was just plowing into them as well. Now, one thing I noticed here is that Faceless picked up a Mjolnir of his own. An interesting choice for a Faceless to pick. I don't necessarily know if that's something I'd go with this early.
Razor tanking the tower, using his Yules on himself to see if he can make it, but unfortunately put down by Storm Spirit. We'll see another Chronosphere out there, but doing damage really to Storm Spirit, locking him down as Alchemist will pop his ult.
Yeah, that was actually Rubik using Chronosphere. He had stolen it from Faceless as soon as he used it, and caught Storm Spirit inside that ultimate. Pretty awesome play by Rubik, I must confess.
Strong play, strong moves. Templar Assassin running away from a very angry-looking Alchemist who will back off in the meantime.
Note that Alchemist has picked up that Skull Basher I was talking about, the finale, so to speak, of that build.
Templar Assassin popped up by Lion, will flee into invisibility in the meantime.
Rubik pulled into the enemy well and dying to Pudge.
We'll see Templar Assassin popped up just outside the gates of the fountain.
Just absolutely shredded by Alchemist there. Alchemist, of course, just kicking out a ton of damage. 110 plus 178 damage being pumped out just every few, like, half a second, basically.
And we'll see Alchemist head in to take the tower, along with Sand King. Chronosphere out this time, and we will see it up against Lion, who will take a ton of damage.
Yeah, I think Radiant's just having fun here. They know that the game's pretty much over. That Ancient has 400 hit points left. Just a tenth of its hit points left.
But they fight on, which I find to be quite valiant.
The first full team wipe by the Radiant side.
Reminds me of Alan Rickman's character in Galaxy Quest. Never give up. Never surrender.
Never
No, wait, that
surrender.
was Tim Allen. It was by Grandpa's Hammer. Was Alan Rickman.
Yeah, never give up, never surrender. Wasn't that, is that Buzz Lightyear?
No, that was Galaxy Quest, but it was Tim Allen in Galaxy Quest. It was the captain's line.
You're right. Don't be in the way when my laser goes off. That's Buzz Lightyear.
That's right.
That was close.
Rubik just picking away at Faceless Void here after a near altercation with a missed hook by Pudge.
And smacking him right in his non-face. Now, you know why I like to buy the Force Staff. I think you've been privy to my machinations and Force Staff play. I love using it on my allies to put them into awkward positions for them to die.
Usually the fountain.
By allies, I mostly mean 3PO, of course.
And Storm Spirit will teleport in on Sand King with an invisible Pudge acting as a mobile ward.
Faceless was in a little bit of trouble there, barely gets away, teleports out once again. He's wasted a ton of money, I would think, on having those. I mean, it's not ever a waste, I suppose, if you live. But it's not enough, and the Ancient drops. And an absolutely resounding victory by the Radiant. Go to the gold graph real fast. Looks as if the Radiant's up by 25,000 gold. Significant advantage. Alchemist having a majority of that net worth. The experience graph takes a significant dive, a big part of that likely due to the team fights happening around the Ancient. As for items being kicked out here, looks as if Lion had picked up that Ghost Scepter, always a fun choice as a casting hero. Nothing too significant on either Rubick or Sand King, with the exception of the Boots of Travel on Rubick. Sand King playing a support, always appreciated for that. And Razor having his Scepter. And that Desolator was finished on Templar Assassin. Nobody else really has anything significant besides Faceless's Mjolnir, which again I don't think was a solid choice. Excuse me, it does look like Storm Spirit also has Orchid, Malevolence, and Black King Bar. So a couple interesting items there, but most of those mid-game items, not something really for an in-game. So
a Radiant victory at 36 minutes, 45 to 32.
Yeah. Who was your MVP here?
My MVP, I'd have to say, it's going to sound possibly strange, but I thought Pudge did just a phenomenal job. Aside from that one bad hook on Templar Assassin, he was mobile. He was in the right place at the right time. He was landing that hook like nobody's business. And you can tell from his assists, he had 11 assists here, that he was really doing his best to be part of that team.
And he also has a significant kill advantage. So I was actually going to say him for myself. Of course, you swagger jacked me. I think that you were reading my mind or something, but that's totally fine. Not a big deal. Pudge having fantastic play this game. Going for a second, just to throw out that second one, I'm going to go with Rubick. Rubick was really utilizing his stolen spell ability, and it's really cool to see that. He also was doing, you could tell that this guy knew how to play Rubick. He was using him effectively, throwing people back, getting some very early kills on Pudge, and it was awesome to see that. But my favorite part was a kill on Templar Assassin, where she had basically melded into the background, popping her invisibility, and Rubick just stole Rot from Pudge, runs up and just stands next to her. She dropped. It was awesome. And not something that I would think you see a lot in pubby matches. So very, very cool play by Rubick there. Who was your Darwin Award?
Our iceberg, my Darwin Award, this particular time was Darkseer.
Is it the Jack Award, I suppose, on Titanic?
That works for me.
Yeah.
Who got iced the most really is the question. Darkseer, I've kind of looked at the play there, and while some good efforts were made, really not using his abilities to the advantage of his team. Like you said, we only saw that Wall of Replica really come into play once. So again, maybe the first time that he's playing that hero, may not be. We don't know, but didn't really see a lot of impressive play from him.
Yeah, it was interesting. He knew to jungle with Darkseer, Darkseer being, of course, a very strong jungler, but he, for one, didn't pick up jungling items. I would always pick up a Quelling Blade, especially if you're melee. Why not? It's only going to help you kill creeps faster. The other thing, and I think that he's played before, maybe just had a bad game or something, because he was stacking creeps, and I noticed that he was stacking creeps relatively early on, but he wasn't able to do the damage to kill them. I think a big part of that, not having the Quelling Blade, and sharing the jungle, I think was a huge mistake with Templar Assassin. I think that the Dire would have had a much stronger game had they sent Templar Assassin down bottom with Pudge to get some of those early kills. Even though they would have split some of the experience, I think that a Pudge Templar Assassin lane would be significantly better, especially because that Pudge was doing a really good job of securing people with his hooks. He was proving time and time again, at least throughout the game, that he was able to land those hooks. So my own personal opinion is that the game was lost very early on. Strong play by the Radiant side, weak play by the Dire, and just a really strange formation by having two junglers. Kind of just splitting that gold between the two of them and not responding really well to the Radiant transitioning and getting lots of kills. So would you like to maybe take a break and do another, or just jump right into another? Or what's your thought process on that, 3PO?
Well, right now there is a pregame with Merlini and Demon and some of the other guys from Evil Geniuses, if you wanted to jump in there.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I'm going to fire that up here. Folks, if you want to stick with us, you can. If you don't, well, fine. It's Tuesday.
Why would you do that?
So that was